So welcome everyone. We're going to start. Maybe a few people will join us and we'll let them join us and then we'll just continue. I'm glad that you're interested in this topic. It's such an important topic that we actually don't think about. So how many of you are aware or know something about family constellations? Can you raise your hand? Family constellations. So this is the modality that I'm going to be talking about. And it's interesting because I'm originally from Guatemala and I studied this in Spain. And it's huge. It's huge in Latin America, it's huge in Germany, in London, in England, in France. And here in the US, I don't know why, hardly anybody knows it. But it's something that is so powerful and it's helping us heal things that are so important that I am seeing it a little bit more since I started 10 years ago here in the US, which is good because it's an important healing that we need to be aware of because it affects our life in so many different ways. So, my name is Liza Miron and I'm originally from Guatemala. And I started in business. I started working in Procter & Gamble. I started in finance. And I realized that I really didn't like so much working with numbers. I wanted to work with people. So I then did a master in human resources and then started working in resources and decided to do master in life coaching. And then one of my teachers said, it doesn't matter how many limiting beliefs you do with your clients. It doesn't matter how much you do action plans, how many different methods you do with them. There's some clients that are just going to be stuck. Oh. And to them, you need to tell them that they need to do a family constellation. So I said, what? What are you talking about? And it definitely felt interesting enough. And I thought, I'm going to start trying to find out more about this modality. And the moment that I started to learn more about it, I was hooked. I thought that it was amazing. It just helped me understand so many things that I didn't understand before, especially about my life, about myself, about life in general, about where do we come from, why things happen, so many things that I just couldn't find any explanations. So I started to learn more. And as I was saying, in Spain, this is huge. I used to go to family constellation sessions every single Tuesday to my teacher. She would have sessions on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The sessions would be with 30 or 40 people every single week. And then 10 years ago, when I came here, I was like, where is my group that I'm going to go weekly? And I could hardly find any family constellations groups. So then when I was with my teacher, I decided to learn more because I just thought it was fascinating. I didn't know that I was going to become a facilitator. But since I did the training, I came here, I couldn't find anybody. I said, well, I have the training, so I will start. And now it's been almost 10 years that I have been doing family constellations here in the US. And what this is a healing modality. Like we know so many healing modalities, but what we're using family constellations specifically with is to heal the issues that we unconsciously carry from our ancestors. So our ancestors, and these are biological ancestors, this goes back to even 7 generations. They suffered a lot of trauma, difficulty, blocked emotions, they had patterns, and they didn't have what we have today. If you have a depression, and you Google depression, you're going to find, if not millions, billions of articles, of therapies, of modalities, of courses. We have so much. And I know some of us think that the moment that we're living is a little bit difficult, but I think it's magical. I think we have so many things that our ancestors didn't have. Even if you think about therapy, you can go to a therapist nowadays without any problem. You can find online, you can find everywhere. With our parents, they didn't have this. Even I remember when I was a teenager, I went with a therapist and I didn't tell my friends. They're gonna think I'm crazy. And that was me. Imagine our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, with the lives, with what they struggled with the wars. They had nothing. And they wanted to be happy, just like we want to be happy. They wanted to feel that they belong. They wanted to feel that they were loved and that they were important. And they had struggles, and they had fears, they had suffering. And most of them just block that because that's what you do at that moment. You suck it up and you continue. You just hide it somewhere and continue with your life because that's what everybody was doing. Maybe they needed help and there was nobody to help them. Maybe they just wanted support and they were told, don't cry, just go on. So all those things that they struggled with, that they had difficulties with, they somehow block that, and we start connecting to that. We unconsciously are so grateful for our life that we want to help heal our family system. It's like this gift of life is so amazing that I want to help you heal. So to help you heal, I'm going to take your fear. I'm going to take your pain. I'm going to do it the same way as you. And since you were not able to have a lovely relationship with your partner, I'm going to fail in every single relationship I have. If you were not able to have abundance in your life, I'm not going to allow myself to have abundance. If you don't have health, how dare am I going to have health? I'm not better than you, so I'm not going to do it better than you. And these are all unconscious decisions that we make. We make because we want to help our family system heal, because we're so grateful for our life, but also because we want to belong. We want to be one of the system, because that means survival. For us, belonging means survival. If we don't belong to our family, to our clan, to our system, we just get thrown out, we're not going to survive. So we want to be one of them. So how can we ensure that we're one of them? That we start imitating. It's a little bit like, I'm going to get my red shirt on. And if the red shirt means that I'm going to fail in every single job that I have, if this is what the family does, this is what I'm going to do because I'm one of them. We stick together. Of course, this is all unconscious. We all want to be successful in our jobs, in our relationships, in everything. But when we have these entanglements, we call them, and energetic bonds, decisions that we make to suffer, like our ancestors did, it's a little bit like the iceberg. The part on top is the one that I want to be successful, that I want to feel love, I want to love myself, I want to love others, I want to have abundance in my life. But if underneath, in that big chunk of ice under the water, is the unconscious part, that I have made all these decisions to suffer like my ancestors, to carry their blocked emotions, to do it the same way as they did to belong, then no matter how much I want to do different things in my life, and I do action plans and I do different kind of modalities, if the information on the unconscious part is to fail, if I'm in a relationship, I'm going to attract and I'm going to be attracted to the people that are going to help me fail. Because that's what's in the program underneath the water. That's what I want to really fulfill. And even though I don't want to fail consciously, if that's underneath, the perfect partner that's going to be, the one that's going to make me happy, the one that's going to be respectful, the one that I'm going to have a long-lasting relationship with, I'm just not attracted to that person. I'm going to be attracted to the one that's going to help me fail. And I'm attracted to this person because probably that person also has the same program underneath they need to fail. So it's like a perfect match. It's like, oh, I don't know why, but I'm so attracted to this person. It's like we're perfect for each other. And we are. Because we're helping each other fulfill these programs that we have. The thing is that we're not children anymore. We don't depend on the family system to survive. So in the moment that we become adults, we are already responsible for ourselves. So we're able to change this, to make a new decision, to start deciding for ourselves. But the process to do that has to come first, connecting with the past. So who in my family suffered with this aspect? Who in my family struggled? Who had this fear? Who had this depression? Who lost someone so important that felt that they couldn't live anymore? Because once we do this, we connect to our ancestors, to the ones that we have the connection, the unconscious connection with. And even if we don't know, because we can do this work even if we are adopted. If we're adopted, if we have these entanglements, the entanglements are there. We may not know consciously who they're connected to, but the information is there. We don't need to know in order to heal. We can just connect, with whoever in my family system suffered this way. I honor and respect them. I honor and respect their suffering. And I connect to everybody with acceptance, with love. I let go of the judgment and criticism that I have of everyone in the family system, no matter what they did. Even if they were, in our point of view, horrible people, we connect to the part that they also had entanglements from the family system. They didn't have the tools that I have today. They also have the traumas. So we understand that everybody did the best that they could, and they're still doing the best that they can if they're alive. But we're not judging and criticizing them anymore. We think, if I was born in their shoes with their parents, with the culture that was at that moment there, with the traumas, maybe I would have done it exactly the same way. So that's the best that they could. So I'm not going to judge them, criticize them. I'm going to accept them. And if they hurt others, that's their responsibility. And I'm going to let go if I'm carrying any of that responsibility. I leave it with them. But instead of saying that I'm going to cut completely what I'm carrying from my ancestors, I don't want to know anything from that, it's the opposite. We are connecting to them, honoring, respecting them, accepting them, and saying thank you. Because for whatever they were able to do, we're here today. And I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful to have this amazing gift of life. And I'm able to do so many things that they were not able to do. So I now take this gift with gratefulness and love. And now I choose to have abundance. I choose to have health. I choose to have success in my life. And I look at my ancestors kindly and I ask them, please, give me your blessing so that I'm able to do this in my life, even though you were not able to do that in your life. So this is all the healing that we're doing when we're doing this modality, the Family Constellations modality. And as I was saying in the beginning, it's so important because how much do we think about our ancestors? How much do we think about our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents? And as I said, we can have this even to up to 7 generations back. So what were their struggles? What are their stories? And even just by thinking about them, by connecting to them, by starting to make this awareness of their what was difficult for them, but what was also special, then we're able to start connecting to the love, to the wisdom, to the energy of the family system. So in the topic of today, I said healing with love and acceptance with our ancestors, and this is what we're actually doing. So we turn to the past, we honor and respect everyone, and we love everyone the way that they were, and then we are able to connect to love from the energy of our ancestors and connect with love to others and then receive love. And this is how we heal, with acceptance. We heal by accepting. We heal by acknowledging the difficulties of others, but then deciding to enjoy our lives, because what our ancestors really want is not for us to suffer the same way as they did. They already suffered. They already struggled. And they did most of their efforts so that their children, their grandchildren would have better lives. So what we actually need to do is the opposite. So we unconsciously carry all these difficulties from our ancestors, but what actually brings the healing is for us to do the opposite and to say, you weren't able to do this, but now I'm going to do this. I'm going to give myself permission because now we're adults. Nobody else needs to give us permission. And I'm going to honor you by being successful, by enjoying life, to have fun, by really connecting to the vibration of every present moment, to look at the sun, to feel the breath of the air in my face and say thank you. Thank you for everything, because now I have this moment that you probably weren't able to have. So from this me enjoying this present moment, our ancestors connect to that as well, and they heal. We heal and they heal as well. When we let go of all those entanglements that we have for the family system, we heal them, we heal ourselves, and we heal the future generations as well. Because our children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren will not be carrying that anymore. So if many people in the family system have struggled with relationships, with abundance, with any general topic, when I step out of that, it's like I'm opening a new door. And I'm opening a new door for everybody to be able to step through it. But unconsciously, what we feel is like, I'm going to suffer like you. And then what we need to realize is that, no, I honor and respect you, and I'm now going to enjoy life. And when we do this, a lot of the issues that we have suddenly start shifting, changing, we start healing. And some of the issues, they're still going to be there. But we realize that they don't bother us anymore. It's like we have these relationships with our family, but also with friends, with coworkers, and we realize that we're starting to get along with everyone better than before. And they're exactly the same. They have not changed a bit, but we don't get upset anymore. We start flowing in life because life has challenges, life has difficulties, and it's through this that we learn, that we grow, that we expand. And we cannot take away that from life. We're still going to have difficulties, problems, challenges. It's just part of what life is. So we're not here trying to get away from all those situations because those are going to come. What we're trying to do here is to be able to flow in life, to enjoy our life, even though we have challenges, even though we have difficulties, even though we're sick, even though we have people close to us that are having difficult moments. Even though we're having all those things, instead of focusing on that, we are able to enjoy what we are able to enjoy, to be grateful. Because not everything is terrible in our life. Even if we're really suffering with a difficult illness, there are things that we can also enjoy. So we start bringing the energy from that to be able to be stronger in the challenges that we have. And suddenly we realize that, we do have these difficulties, but we're able to navigate them easily. It's like before we start to swim against the river, trying to change and fix everything, and we're just stuck there and we end up exhausted. So when we do this healing, when we are aware of all of this, it's like we get into a boat and we start navigating the river, having fun. And yes, sometimes we bump into some rocks, but we still continue and we look at the view, and then we move on. So this is what we're doing in the family constellations. What we are also doing is the part of the hierarchy, the part of the roles. It's very important for us to realize that with our position in the family system, we have a role. So these are the orders of love of Bert Hellinger. He's the one that developed the modality of family constellations. The first order of love is the order of belonging, that everybody belongs in the family system, no matter what. And that's from conception, so miscarriages and abortions also belong. They need to have a place. And the second order of love is the order of the hierarchy, that we all have a position of when we came into the family system, and a position with a role regarding to the other people. So I am my parents' daughter. I am my children's mother. And of course, that's very obvious. But when you start thinking about how we behave in life, sometimes we're not in our position. And sometimes we are our parents' parents, telling them what to do, telling them that they need to take care of themselves, that they need to go to the doctor, that they're investing their money wrong. So we are not in our position. We need to respect our parents, even if we disagree with them, and let them make their own decisions. And then with our children, we are responsible for them until they become adults. Once they become adults, we need to let them go. They're free. Even if we don't agree with what they are deciding, it's not their responsibility. And sometimes we hold on. We don't want to let them go because we feel important, because we feel needed. So it's important to realize the positions that we have. Sometimes I'm taking care of a sibling as if they're my children. I'm being responsible for them. And again, that's not my position. And those are going to make disorders in my life. So for example, if I'm being my mother's mother, it's like the energy that I have for partner is being used in that relationship. So I may have difficulty finding a partner because it's like I'm, my parents' partner. I'm there in that relationship, or I'm there or maybe I'm going to have problems at having children because I'm treating everybody as my children. So it's like my energy to have children is used as the way that I treat my siblings, my parents. So the role that we have is very important. And the third order of love described from Bert Hellinger is the order of giving and receiving, and that there has to be a balance in the giving and receiving in our life. Sometimes we give too much, and we don't allow ourselves to receive. Sometimes we're not giving, and if you think about the relationships of giving and receiving, there's a balance that has to be maintained. Often when there's a relationship, a partner relationship, and one person gives a lot to the other one, the one that's receiving is the one that tends to leave the relationship. And then everybody thinks, how ungrateful, the other person was giving too much, why did this person suddenly leave the relationship? So what's happening there is that the balance was not maintained. And the person that was receiving so much could not give back in the same amount for whatever reason. So the person that's receiving too much starts feeling guilt in the relationship because they cannot give back in the same amount. The other person can manipulate them because they have given them so much that if they want the other person to do, something that the one that has been receiving doesn't want to do, they're going to feel like, oh, I have to do it because, they've given me so much that even though I don't want to do this. So there's like a possibility of being manipulated. So if we want to have healthy relationships, it's important, and to have strength in the relationships, it's important to have this balance. And it doesn't mean that we're going to get out a notebook and I did this, you did this, and we're out of, balance. It doesn't have to be that specific. It's just a feeling. And we kind of know it in every relationship if we're in this balance or not. And it's our responsibility when we're giving to others to give only what they need, because sometimes we want to give even what they don't want they don't need, because we like to give. So give only what they need, and give only as much as they can give back. So that's our responsibility as well when we are giving, because otherwise we're going to lose the strength. And when you think, for example, in a relationship with a job, the balance is there as well. When you work and work and work and your salary is very low, what happens? You're exhausted. You end up leaving, looking for another place to work, because there wasn't any balance. Then when we suddenly receive a lot of money without working a lot, it feels like the money has no strength. And this tends to, and it disappears. And this tends to happen. There's some studies about people that have won like the lottery, that very soon the money kind of disappears. And it's interesting because I once had a client that used to work with people in jail, and they would say, I would steal a lot of things and would get all this money, and then suddenly 1 week later I had nothing. And it's of course there's the ethical part of not stealing, but it's just the dynamic. They got all these things, and then without any effort, there's the effort of trying to get them, but without any effort of working for them, and then they get the money, but then it just flows away because it doesn't have the strength. Of course, it's wrong, but the point is that it doesn't stay because there's no balance. It doesn't have the strength needed to stay, to flourish, to multiply. So, so this is what we're doing here. The healing by connecting to our ancestors, connecting to what they struggled, honor and respecting them, accepting them, and letting go of the part that we're carrying that is not ours, and deciding what we do want to have in life. So this is the work that we're doing. I want to do a very short meditation for you to start healing, for you to start connecting, for you to start reaching to this way of accessing what we get from our ancestors, because we not only get the difficulties, the challenges, the blocked emotions, we also get wisdom, we also get love, we also get so much information, so much blessings. But we're unaware of all this. So I want you to start experiencing this. I want you to start connecting to this. So we're going to do a short meditation. So if you want to do the meditation, what you need to do is just try to keep your back straight. And if you don't want to do it, you just can listen to the things that I'm saying, and then it's also helpful even if you're not meditating. You can close your eyes and take a deep breath. Exhale. And you're going to connect to God, to Source, to the Divine, to however you want to call this greater energy. You're going to feel a light coming from up above, inside of you and all around you. And you're going to feel that you're being supported. You're being held. That you're getting resourced in wherever you need it the most. Maybe your body, maybe your energy, maybe your thoughts, your emotions. Open up to receive. And from this place of being held, of being supported, of being safe, you're going to start connecting to your family system. So behind you, you're going to place your parents, your biological parents. If you had adoptive parents, you place them beside them. You're going to place your father on the right side and your mother on the left side. And if you didn't know them, you just know that their presence is there. However, it feels natural, good for you to place them. And behind them, you're going to place your grandparents. So behind your father, On his right side, you're going to place his father, and on the left side, his mother. And the same for your mother. On her right side, you're going to place her father, and then the left side, her mother. And now place their parents behind them. Father on the right side and mother on the left side. And place them any way that it feels natural to you. If you remember them or know them from pictures, just see them there. If you just want to know that they're there, you can do that. If you want to see them as a light. And place 2 more generations behind them, just knowing that they're there, these ancestors of yours. And start looking at all these ancestors. Give them their place in your family system, because everybody belongs, no matter what they did. Honor and respect them. Realize that they had a lot of challenges, difficulties. Think about the stories that you know of the moment that they lived in. If they were wars, if they moved from one place to another, the challenges that they had, the illnesses, the losses. And a lot of them just blocked all these trauma and emotions. Many of them were not able to receive any love. And did not love themselves. They didn't even know what that was. And they had nobody to help them with this, to deal with the difficult emotions. You might be unconsciously carrying these traumas and emotions, these difficulties and patterns. So in this moment, make the decision to let go of whatever is not yours, that is not helpful, that is not your responsibility, that you are unconsciously carrying from your ancestors. So take a deep breath. When you exhale, feel that you're releasing from the cells in your body, from your energy, from wherever this is being held. And everything that you release is going down to the earth, where it gets transformed into energy. Now look again at your ancestors. And realize that there were also moments of love, moments of joy, so much wisdom of what worked and what did not work for them. And we also connect to this. So open up to receive whatever is there for you from your ancestors, this love, this blessing, this energy, this wisdom. You're the flow of life that has gone down from generation to generation. You're this vibration of life and energy. So receive without needing to know what is it that you're receiving. Open up to receive whatever is useful and helpful for you in this moment in your life. And look at your ancestors. And internally say to them, thank you. Thank you for my life. I now choose to cherish this gift. And I choose to have abundance in my life, to have love, to have health, to have success, and to have joy. So take a deep breath and exhale. And feel this light from Source, from God, from the Divine that we were connecting to at the beginning, inside of you and all around you, and helping you integrate, helping you heal, helping you with everything that you've done right now, in this moment, in this meditation, with all this information, for things to be useful, and for everything to come into coherence in a well-paced way. You can open your eyes. So we're going to move to questions, but before, as I said, this modality is called Family Constellation. This is a type of ancestral healing. I do group sessions online and in person in San Jose. I do them also one-on-one, online via Zoom, and also in person. I left some information in the flyers, and there's more here if you want to take. I printed way too many for this event, and I think I'm going to have from here to eternity, so take as many as you want, especially if you have somebody that you think that can benefit. Take as many as you want, and I have more in my booth. It's booth number 24. I can give you like stacks. So all the information is on my website. You can find the links to make the appointments. You can find the link to my YouTube channel. I have a lot of videos there that are around 5 minutes. So they're easy to see. There's some that are longer, but they're divided by lists, so you can find the information easily and see if you want to learn more. I have a link to the events. I have an online course. I'm doing a training this year to help people, to train people that want to do become Family Constellation facilitators. So all the information is there on my website, my number, my email. If you want to contact me, you have it all there. So we're going to move now to questions and answers. So raise your hand if you have a question. Yes.
I guess I don't really understand what it is when you're meeting with somebody. Is when you say it's a healing modality, is it like a hands-on, like a Reiki, or is it like a counseling, like you're talking to somebody, or is it software? Or, I guess I'm trying to have a greater understanding of when you meet with somebody, what do you do?
Yeah. So what we do, go ahead. If anybody wants to skip the questions and answers, you can go ahead. Okay. So I'll explain the modality. So if anybody has Netflix, there's this series called Another Self, and they do family constellations there. So you can watch even the first episode, and you can already have an idea of how it works. So when we do a group session, I'm going to explain the group sessions, and then I'm going to explain the personal sessions. So in the group sessions, the person that wants to do their constellation is sitting with me, beside me, and there's people around that, anybody can come. We can all do this very easily. It's something that we do it naturally. We're connecting to the energy with our intuition. So the people that are in the group session are gonna, maybe the client wants to work with a relationship with their mom. So one person is gonna represent the client, and the other person is gonna represent their mom. And according to how they relate with each other, for example, if one of the representatives is looking at the other one, but the other one is like turning their back, or they're angry, or they're just happy with each other, that gives us information. So let's say that the one that's representing the client is looking at somebody else. It's like looking fixed in a position here. So that means they're looking at somebody else. So we're going to place another person from the group to stand there and see what's the dynamic there. And all of this gives us information of what are the entanglements that the person has from the family system. And then I'm going to ask the person, so who do you think this is? And maybe the person has some intuition and says, I think it's my grandmother. And what happened with your mother and your grandmother? And well, they don't get along. And this has happened. So then I ask the client to say some phrases to honor, to respect, to let go of whatever they're carrying from this person. And we see how that changes the dynamic of the ones that are representing. And that gives us information if the relationship is now better. And this is how we keep on moving during the constellation. And until there's a shift, there's some movement, there's some healing that has happened. And when I do the one-on-one sessions, I do all the different representations. So I move from one position to the other. I put pieces of paper on the floor, and I do all the different representations. It's a modality that until you don't experience it is really so hard to explain. So if you didn't understand anything about what I just said, don't worry, that's usually what happens.
What is the name of the show again, just so I can?
Another Self.
Another Self.
It's Turkish, but it's dubbed in English, and it's pretty good. It's so entertaining. I saw it it's like 6 or 8 episodes. I finished it in 2 days. It's a friendship and relationship kind of series. But it is something that we don't really understand it until we see it, until we experience it, until we live it. And when we're doing the group sessions of Family Constellations, it's fascinating. When we're able to represent, anybody can come to a session, be part of the group, and represent. And what we're doing when we're representing is that with our intuition, we start connecting to the field, to the energy, to the information. It's a little bit like, when there's a party and you go to a room and nobody has said anything, but you already know that they're fighting. And it's like, ooh, I don't want to be here. So nobody has said anything to you, but it's like through your intuition, you are already knowing things, sensing things.
So it's kind of like energy work.
It's kind of energy work, yeah.
Okay.
And when you think about this phrase, when they say, you can cut the tension with a knife.
Oh, yeah.
So where does that come from?
Right.
Because we are able to connect to this energy, to the sensation, we all do it. That's why this phrase is something that everybody knows. But nobody says, you're connecting to the energy and this is why you are able to notice this tension. No, with your energy, with your intuition, you're connecting to the energy of the field, of the room, of the people, and you're sensing what's going on. So this is what we're actually using when we're doing the family constellations. The ones that are representing through their intuition, they just, like in a meditative way, start connecting to what comes up. And maybe I start representing and I suddenly start crying. And I don't know why. And I'm not thinking of anything, and I just start crying. And maybe I want to come closer to someone. Maybe I want to just stay away. And this is our body moving with it's called the morphic field, the field of information. So we're not necessarily like channeling our ancestors, but we're connecting to the field of information through our body, through our intuition, and with the intention of the healing. So what's going to come up is what's necessary and helping for the healing to take place. And this is how we do it. So I invite you all to come to some sessions because, like I said, you probably did not understand even this much about what really the experience is. It's something that to fully understand it, you need to experience it. So whenever you can come to a session, either online or in person, I invite you to come. And when you're representing, even though it's not your own constellation, you're also healing. Because, maybe we don't get along with, maybe with the example I was saying, maybe I don't get along with my mom. And by me representing the mother of the other person, I'm also healing the relationship in my family system. Or maybe there's anger and I'm representing someone that has struggled with anger and something shifts. And then it connects with my family system because we're all connected and we're all part of the healing. So when we're representing, even though we're not doing our own work, we are also healing ourselves and healing the family system. Yes?
Yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts about Mark Woolman's book. Kind of, it didn't start with you.
Yeah.
And maybe, have you heard of Maureen Celine's book, Connected Fates, Separate Destinies?
I haven't heard about the second book. Mark Walling, in the series Another Self, one of the actors is reading his book. So I have done training with Mark Walling, and I think he's amazing, and I think that his book is really, really good. And that's the book that I recommend everybody to read, because it's the one that explains the best way the family constellations. And what I like about his book is that he uses a lot of scientific studies to prove the work, to understand how this happens. It's my number one recommendation. Yeah, I think it's great. Any last questions? Because I think we're almost out of time. Maybe one more.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you all for being here. And enjoy the rest of the fair.